Today on Hey Leon, what's that riff? We're taking a look at the Ragdoll song Rewind Your Mind. It sounds something like this.
Rewind your mind, it's easy. You make hell for yourself, trying to please me. Rewind your mind completely. You should know not to show that you love me.
Rewind Your Mind is taken from our album Back to Zero, but we actually released it as a standalone single and music video a year earlier than the album came out to accompany a US tour. This is all the way back in 2015 now. It seems like yesterday. It was actually the first song I ever recorded with this guitar, and it was kind of the sonic template we ended up using for the rest of the album. The whole approach of layering guitars, a lot of the chords and little overdub ideas on there, and a lot of the lyrical themes started with this particular song, so it is particularly close to my heart. It's sort of like a very important turning point, I guess, in the history of the band. We're in drop C, and we're using essentially what I call the C grunge scale. What is the C grunge scale, you ask? Essentially, we're just playing the C blues scale on the lowest string, but then instead of restricting it to that, we're playing parallel fifths the whole way, meaning you play a one-finger power chord. So you go from this very much inspired by bands like Soundgarden, Alice in Chains, and of course, King's X. So the riff starts with this open 3/5 motif. This is the way it's phrased. Pretty straightforward. And then we're going to play 5, 6, 7, up to 10. And when you play the 10th fret, you kind of slide off the chord. Very, very important stuff. Gives it a lot of attitude. This is what the first half of the riff sounds like. And then the second half of the riff is almost identical. Instead of doing 5, 6, 7, 10 at the end, you kind of turn around, you go 10, 7, 6, 5. But instead of sliding off the 5, you do this little nugget of dissonance. You play fret 5 on the 3rd string, and you play the 2nd string open. So they are a semitone apart. You get this. And you don't have to be too precious about that. I'll often just play down the whole chord and add that. So you, in drop C, the chord, I guess, would be an F add 11 chord, which is kind of cool. I love that one. I use it all the time. So let's hear the riff with tab on the screen at 70% of the tempo, then at full speed. In the second and the third choruses, the second time you play that riff, this chord up here at the 10th fret actually gets replaced with this chord around fret 3 on the A string. In standard tuning, this would be a C9 chord. Because we're in drop C, it's going to sound like B flat 9, but I still think of it as C9. So on the 5th string, it's fret 3. On the 3rd string and 2nd string, it's also fret 3. But on fret number 2 of the 4th string, we have this. So you get this. Absolutely stanky. Again, very inspired by Thai Table there. And we're replacing fret 7 with an A style shape. So instead of this, you get this. Just add some wonderful dissonance in there. So you can play around with that. I'll also include a link to tab for the whole song because the verse in this song is really fun to play, so is the pre-chorus, and I've tabbed out the whole solo. But let's take a look at that one widdly lick in the solo. The solo basically uses an 8-bar call and response style technique. Bar 1, bar 3, bar 5, and bar 7 all borrow from the intro. They're this little melody played on the G and B strings, fret 6, 7, and 9 on the G, and fret 8 on the B string, Mixolydian tonality. Then what I'm thinking about is, again, I'm still thinking in standard tuning here, even though it's going to sound a tone lower. I'm thinking of outlining an A major arpeggio. Again, it's going to sound like G. Don't worry about it too much if this all just kind of sounds like gobbledygook. Blame it on the accent. So fret 9 on the G, fret 10 on the B, and fret 9 and 12 on the E. This is a pretty popular sweep shape. You know, your kind of Woody Woodpecker shape. But then what I'm doing is I'm utilizing fret 10 on the high string. So this is going to give us a, I guess, an add 11 tonality for this one. That's kind of the idea anyway. Then what I'm doing is I'm reaching up and I'm tapping the root note on fret 17. Then I am tapping the dominant 7th. So this essentially is kind of leaning into that Mixolydian tonality there. I don't really think of this as a chord extension or anything. I just kind of think, yeah, sounds like Mixolydian. So you get this all up. And let's hear that at 70% and then at full speed with tab so that it makes a little bit more sense. If you'd like to learn more from the song, as I said earlier, there will be a link to the full guitar tab in the video description. If you want to check out more Ragdoll music, as I said earlier, there are also links in the video description. I would really appreciate it if you went and had a listen to the album and some of the newer material that we've released over the last couple of years. If you have any questions, please let me know in the comments. If you'd like to see a full breakdown or playthrough at some point in the future, let me know. I would be happy to do that if there's enough demand for it. In the meantime, stay excellent. I'll see you next time, and thank you so much for watching.